Good morning, everyone. Welcome to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Infinity, and this is Magnetize Yourself, where we talk about life, love, spirituality, and of course, the law of attraction. In today's video, I am doing a twin flame reading for the Twin Flame Collective. So this will be a reading for the collective Divine Feminine and Divine Masculine. Also, if you are new to this channel, please do double check that you are subscribed. And regardless if this is your first time here or if you've been a long time subscriber, be sure to like this video if you would like me to channel specific messages for you and your situation. I channel these twin flame readings on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, and live premiere them at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So be sure to stop back at those times and on those days if you feel guided to do so. Also, a special thank you to those of you who are here during the live premiere, who are sharing your beautiful energy through the live chat feature. The live chats are a really special and powerful kind of space because it's an opportunity for all of us who are part of this collective here to actually join together and share our energy, share our frequency, which actually has a healing effect to everyone who is watching and listening, especially during the live premieres. By the way, I just saw the number 222 on my recording timer right away. I'm not sure if it'll line up with the actual times on the video because there might be a little bit at the beginning cut out, but as you guys know, 222 is a major sign of confirmation, especially for someone who is on a twin flame path. So I'm starting with the Energy Oracle cards deck today, and right away I've pulled 2 cards. I'm going to see if I can get a 3rd card here. So what do twin flames listening need to know at this time? Okay, so let's flip over these 3 cards. Wow, guys, all 3 cards are in the reverse position, and the first card here is Woman Holding a Heart reversed, and this is actually the number 44 card. I am mentioning that because I am intuitively feeling that some of you have been seeing the number 222 recently, also, or I'm sorry, 444, and potentially 222 also. I'm also seeing the number 333, so those 3 sequential numbers, 222, 333, 444, could all be numbers that you are seeing right now. Now, I want to actually read a little bit from the guidebook for this first card, and then of course we will get some context on how these messages are progressing through this 3-card spread. So the guidebook here says this card reversed could indicate a state of being emotionally overwhelmed, but when I saw that word state, I actually heard the word stalemate. So someone could feel as though they're at some kind of stalemate, some kind of, I don't want to say tug of war. I feel like that's too much of an active kind of conflict word. I feel like this is more so just feeling stuck in some sense. A stalemate, the idea of there being 2 people that just can't seem to fully come to some kind of a manifested solution or movement forward within this connection is kind of how I'm feeling. I'm specifically picking up on Divine Feminine, feeling as though she is at some kind of a stalemate either within herself energetically or within this connection at times. Now, as I'm channeling a few cards of clarification for that, I do want to remind you that whenever I speak to the Divine Feminine or Divine Masculine, I'm not speaking to a specific gender. Of course, I am referring to the energy dynamic, and we each have a balance of these 2 energies within us, some Divine Feminine and Divine Masculine energy. And the thing about twin flame connection is this is the only soul connection that actually inversely reflects our own internal divine masculine and divine feminine balance, which is why we so commonly speak of the divine feminine and masculine in the context of twin flame connection. Whereas in other forms of love connection, our internal balance will affect these relationships, our internal balance of masculine and feminine, but the other party, the other person, won't perfectly reflect, again, inversely, our own internal masculine and feminine. And by inversely, of course, I just mean that if we have a hyper inner feminine energy, a very strong dominance of inner feminine, then our divine masculine counterpart, as we might label them, may have the inverse. They may have a hyper masculine energy, a very strong dominant masculine energy, if that makes sense. And of course, I may do more podcast episodes on that in the future if anyone is interested. But for now, getting back to the messages, walking away in the reverse position came out here. I'm actually feeling some conflict around walking away, some kind of internal conflict here. Now, keep in mind, again, these messages, I'm channeling potentials here for the ways that these collective trends in feminine and masculine energy might be showing up for you in your life. So always use your own intuition above all else. That is truly your best and only guide through these kinds of messages and readings. But one potential I'm feeling here for some, specifically some who would label themselves as divine feminine, is this feeling of, with walking away reversed, what do I do here? Is what I hear them saying. What do I do about this person or situation? This internal conflict around walking away or staying, this could be referring to past energies as well. So this could be something that she is reaching a resolution point about. This could also be a feeling of internal conflict that she is still presently feeling within herself. So I'm going to get some more clarification. Can I get more clarification? I also heard, is it safe to give my heart away? Okay, the Sun card in the upright position. I heard, I want something that I'm afraid I can't have. So the Sun represents new beginnings. So there could be this feeling here of this divine feminine feeling internal conflict because she wants this new beginning with, I feel, someone in regards to love and relationship, although this could apply more broadly to her life, to her career, to her work, because again, these are energy dynamics, and the twin flame path specifically is really intertwined with our life path, with our work, with our soul mission here on earth, with so many different aspects of our life. So of course, it isn't just limited to love and relationships, but I do feel for many this will be in regards specifically to love, this feeling of, I want this new beginning in love. But door to personal healing and happiness in the reverse position. Okay, so I want this new beginning in regards to most likely some kind of a love affair or love relationship. However, I'm not sure if it's safe to give my heart away. I keep getting this feeling of security and connection with woman holding a heart reversed, like this fear of fully giving one's heart away, for fear of not being supported in the end, or not having that love reciprocated, or something along those lines. I know this won't apply perfectly for everyone. And again, some of these messages may not apply to you at all. So for someone though listening, with this first chakra in the reverse also came out. This is actually one of the first 3 cards that I pulled. So there's this feeling of instability, this feeling of insecurity in connection with this new beginning. And it comes down to someone here feeling as though both they and their other person, who very likely could be their twin flame counterpart in this situation, there's something about door to personal, like individual healing and individual happiness. There's this feeling of, we have to heal our individual selves first. And I did hear you have to heal yourself first. So I do feel a lot of you versus me kind of energy coming up, potentially from the ego a little bit here. But this divine feminine looking at the masculine and saying, I feel like you need to find happiness within yourself. You need to heal individually. And potentially there's some kind of separation consciousness through this. There's this feeling of, and we have to do this healing work, this quest to personal happiness separately for a time, because that is the only way to preserve us for this potential new beginning somewhere down the line that I do still desire. I hear this divine feminine saying, but that I'm feeling some internal conflict around, because there's part of me that feels as though it's no longer safe to fully give my heart away, with this first chakra reversed and woman holding a heart reversed. And then finally, kind of tying these messages together, we have the victory card was also one of the first 3 cards to come out here. And once again, I feel this indicating something being pushed down the line. It's kind of the opposite of a victory here. Especially there's something about looking back and having this feeling. We've been channeling this throughout many different readings, but this feeling of, I wanted something from this connection that kept being delayed, or that I hear this divine feminine literally saying, you divine masculine seem to keep pushing down the line. And now there's a part of me wondering whether this thing is going to happen at all. But if it has a chance to happen, this new beginning has a chance to come about, I feel that the only way to preserve this connection, to hold space for this new beginning, and this could be the divine feminine speaking on kind of a higher self level here, is for us to, with door to personal healing and happiness reverse, each come into our own separately, each heal separately, meaning of course through some kind of 3D disconnect. I just saw 222 again, 1222 on the recording timer. The month of December, by the way, may be significant in someone's connection historically. So this could be some month where you met or you separated or came together, or something happened in that month specifically for someone. Also, there could be some symbolic significance of trees to someone personally or to your connection more generally. But yeah, that's what I'm getting, this energy from the divine feminine, and I'm feeling like these are very 3D messages. You guys know that I like to make a distinction between the 3D messages that come through for both the masculine and feminine, make a distinction between that and the higher self messages, what I call the 5D messages. So I am going to reshuffle the cards here and turn over to the divine masculine in the 3D. Just let me take a sip of my coffee here. Okay, so what is going on with the divine masculine in the 3D, in the physical? What is the divine masculine thinking or feeling in the physical? All tied up in the upright position. I'm laughing because this card has come out so frequently throughout these twin flame readings. As many of you know, there's this energy of wanting to say something. By the way, I am seeing a squirrel just sitting on a tree outside my window. I felt like a dog just distracted there by a squirrel outside for a second. Some of you may have some kind of a spiritual connection to squirrels specifically, and that might be why that's coming up right now in my physical reality, but let me know if that connects with anyone. Anyway, so with this all tied up upright, I feel this continuation of this energy for the collective divine masculine, especially from his 3D perspective of, I want to open up more. I want to open my heart, open, specifically there's something with communication. I want to communicate more, but I quite literally, I heard like tongue-tied. I feel tongue-tied. I feel like that song, Tongue-Tied, by the way, came into my mind, so that might hold some meaning for someone. But I feel this energy of, I want to say more, and not just say more, but I want to do more. I want to show up more for you, divine feminine, within this connection. But then I see these like invisible strings or binds that feel as though they are still constricting the divine masculine, or somehow preventing him from doing this, from fully opening up, moving forward in the ways that he desires to. So I want to know, first of all, what this divine masculine desires to say or do within this connection. Yeah, this is interesting. Just like I feel or felt earlier from the divine feminine, this conflict, Yeah, with action in the reverse, just flew out of the deck here. But with the Divine Feminine, I felt this conflict between what she desired, right? And what she was getting, or what was happening, what was showing up in her physical world. Now, specifically for the Divine Feminine, I felt this in regards to desiring greater manifested connection, healed connection in the physical with her Divine Masculine, represented by the Sun card, the new beginning card, wanting whatever that means for you specifically, some kind of fresh start, some kind of new beginning, reconnection for some. However, I see this dynamic mirrored, this feeling of wanting something, that there's also this feeling of, I want something that I feel as though I can't have. And it's not as though they literally can't have it. It's speaking from the human limited ego perspective here that we are all burdened with at times in this physical lifetime, where the ego is saying, no, you can't have that, or that's never going to happen, or it's too late for that. There's all these feelings of limitation coming up from the ego that are somehow blocking this pure soul desire from fully manifesting itself. And we will get into more on that later, either here or the extended. But with this action card reversed, it's like, so for the Divine Masculine, just as the Divine Feminine wants something that she feels as though she can't have in this connection, the Divine Masculine also has this disconnect between what he desires, which is this expansion, this opening up, and this stagnancy with action card reversed that he's feeling in the physical world. And once again, that word stagnant, stalemate, is coming up again, being reflected on both sides for both the collective feminine and the collective masculine. So I want to know why or how this Divine Masculine isn't moving forward into action. And of course, right away, the card Door to Spirit in the upright position. This symbolizes intuition, spiritual awakening. And what I'm feeling from this card is the Divine Masculine's higher self stepping in here to say, the reason things seem quiet in 3D at times for some, in whatever way that means for you, whether that's literally a lessening of communication or less movement forward in the physical, whatever is represented for you by this action card reversed, I hear this Divine Masculine's higher self saying, the reason for this, let's call it just inaction as a blanket term, this stagnancy, is because I am going through this extremely powerful spiritual awakening. I literally feel like this tugging on my heart. I feel like this is symbolizing specifically this newfound energy that is flowing through the Divine Masculine, especially working right now through his heart center, through the heart chakra, clearing out a lot of blocks, causing a lot of, even for some, physical sensations that you as the Divine Feminine may actually feel, a feeling of warmth, a feeling of opening energetically through the heart center. But regardless, I feel this Divine Masculine saying, Door to Spirit upright, Divine Feminine, I am waking up not just to the truth of this connection, yes, but first and foremost to the truth of myself, to the depth of my own being, my own soul, and through reconnecting with that sense of depth within myself, I realize that you are the one, the only one, Divine Feminine, with whom I share that soul depth. I often call the twin flame connection the Marianas Trench of the soul because it's our deepest and most ancient soul connection. Just as the Marianas Trench is the deepest point in the ocean. And of course, by comparison, the Marianas Trench makes every other point in the ocean look shallow. And I'm kind of tripping over my words, as you can tell, which indicates to me that the masculine feels like, I hear him saying, I don't feel like I'm very good with my words. I feel like I'm tongue-tied. I feel like I'm tripping over myself, trying to open up, trying to share how I feel, because I hear him saying, I've never felt this way before. But it's not just that this connection is unique and special and his most deeply held soul connection, which it is. It's also that he's never felt this way before, because even Divine Feminine, when he connected with you in the past, he was less awakened, so he was less conscious of what he was feeling from the connection, with his less conscious of his soul's knowing of this connection. So when he says, I've never felt this way before, he's also saying, I've never even with you, Divine Feminine, I've never allowed myself to feel the depths of this connection because I was experiencing life, all aspects of life, including love, connection, and romance, in a more shallow way prior to having this spiritual awakening break me wide open. So I want to know how this situation with the masculine is potentially moving forward into the future. So financial constraints in the upright position. And what I'm getting from this card right away is I heard there are still things, constraints, restrictions for this masculine to be clearing. So in the near future, I heard delays, setbacks. You may, as the Divine Feminine on the other side of this, still have this feeling as though things are being a little bit delayed, things are still being pushed back. This is what I'm getting for potentially when I say near future. I'm talking for most weeks or months here. However, I hear Spirit coming in here to say, this is why, Divine Feminine, it's so essential for you to allow yourself to rise fully to your highest vibrational form of love connection, whatever that is for you, to allow yourself to be open to receiving, to be open to love from all forms and sources, and not to become too distracted or hung up by what this Divine Masculine is going through, potentially day to day, clearing through these blocks energetically, these, I'm hearing restrictions, binds, these could be karmic situations he's breaking out of in his life. Divine Feminine, I'm hearing on your side of things, it's so essential to, as we've been saying through this channel, continue holding the space. And I just saw 2222 on the recording timer. To continue holding the space for the Divine Masculine to continue to rise by continuing to rise into your own power, into your own highest, happiest, most healed version of self, meaning I heard through continual expression of self-love, self-support, showing up for yourself in the ways you need, desire, and deserve. Because remember, when you show love to yourself, when you exercise self-love, that is equivalent in twin flame connection to showing love, radiating love to the other. That is how they feel it energetically. So the best way when we talk about how to support your twin flame, how to send love to your twin flame, ironically within true twin flame connection, the best way to support your twin is actually to support yourself on your own healing journey, on your own journey to the highest version of self, whatever that personally means for you. And of course, I'm being intentionally vague here because I want you to, and really my only goal with all of these readings is to fully reconnect you with your own soul's intuition about how you personally are being guided to move forward with your life, your work, your love connections, etc. Because as I always say, the answers are always and only within you. Your intuition is literally the compass of your life and of your soul. And the beautiful thing with the Divine Feminine is lately she has really been learning how to fully get back in touch with that intuition of her soul. And for many Divine Masculines, there's this feeling of actually awakening to that inner voice, awakening to that intuition for some of them for what feels like the first time, which of course, as both counterparts follow their intuition, show up for themselves, support themselves, love themselves, this actually, I see two people who are blindly walking down paths that look very separate, but in the end, these paths converge when they continue having the courage to step forward in the blindness, in the dark. So take that metaphor if and how it resonates with you. But for now, I do want to speak to the Divine Feminine's higher self. So what does the Divine Feminine's higher self want to say at this time? Okay, action card in the reversed and strategy card in the reverse. You might be seeing right now a lot of the number combinations 1, 7, and 1, 2. So those three numbers, 1, 7, and 2, in various combinations might be coming up a lot for some of you. I hear Divine Feminine saying, I don't know how to move forward, but I'm releasing my need for a plan. And specifically, I hear her higher self coming in here to say, beautiful Divine Feminine, from your physical human perspective, at times, you find yourself getting trapped in this I want to say almost this perfectionism, this needing to plan out, to fully know your next step. There's something about books here. Someone might be reading or might be a writer. But I feel this Divine Feminine's higher self saying, I know at times you feel the need to have everything fully planned out, but over and over through these readings, we've been guiding the Divine Feminine collectively to really allow herself to be led, to be guided at this time. Once again, I'm getting that visual of someone walking with a blindfold on, walking through the dark. So what else does this Divine Feminine's higher self want to say to her at this time? And 3 cards came out here. Attachment reversed, cornucopia reversed, and 3rd chakra, the solar plexus chakra, in the reverse position. Now, interestingly, I feel that these 3 cards kind of came out in a cluster because there's sort of a triad here, if that's the right word, a kind of triangle here. They are 3 points to a triangle. That's the message trying to come through. The solar plexus being wounded in some sense because all of these cards are reversed. Attachments being released, and cornucopia reversed, something being delayed, some manifestation of a heart or soul desire being pushed down the line. All of these things are connected. Now, intuitively, you may already know how these things are connected for you, but I'm feeling Spirit come in here to say that for many, how this is going to apply is a weak solar plexus energy, meaning a Divine Feminine's lack of confidence in herself or lack of self-worth. That word self-worth is really coming through strongly, led to, with this attachment card, seeking external validation or seeking a sense of worth externally through these attachments that we could label as negative simply because of the ways that these attachments, not that they were negative in themselves, but that they held her back from fully manifesting with cornucopia reverse what she truly desired. So again, this could apply in many different ways depending on your situation. This could apply to love or to work, but the key here is that a Divine Feminine's low sense of self-worth in the past or sense of value in self led to seeking that sense of worth externally through attachments that then, in a sense, held her back from fully manifesting or having what she truly desired most, with cornucopia card reversed. However, I'm hearing this message of it's not too late, even if your ego tells you that there is time limitation in the past, because I'm getting a very past energy. Like, I feel this Divine Feminine's higher self kind of explaining to this Divine Feminine why in the past she may have had this feeling of either over-reliance, codependency within other relationships, even on the Divine Masculine, or could have felt as though things for her weren't coming together, weren't happening. And it's almost like this mystery. Why am I not fully manifesting these soul desires, again, in love or in life in the past? And I feel the Divine Feminine's higher self coming in here to say, Divine Feminine, you are doing something really powerful right now, some very powerful energy healing work by shifting this 3rd chakra card, by healing, in other words, your solar plexus energy, your sense of self-worth and self-value, by rising in your power and confidence, cultivating core inner confidence that comes from within. You are now naturally capable of releasing any attachments in your life to, these could be so many things. These could be within karmic relationships for some. These could be attachments to the opinions or ideals of other people for her, expectations of other people, being capable now of detaching, disconnecting from those attachments that were negative in the sense that they were holding her back from fully rising into her true power and potential, because this Divine Feminine is an incredibly powerful creator, manifester, spiritual being. She has a very old soul and is very capable of quickly manifesting her desires. It's just that part of what she came to this lifetime to learn not just for herself, but also for her family's line, specifically for her maternal line, was this healing of the solar plexus, cultivating core confidence and a sense of worth from within rather than seeking it externally. And the more that she shifts this dynamic, shifts the focus, the energy from giving her power away to others, allowing others to dictate her life and her choices or her sense of self-worth, she is powerfully shifting the balance within her life and going to see more and more of the upright cornucopia energy, the manifestation, I'm hearing the effortless alignment of everything in her life in the physical, the effortless manifestation of everything that she has been desiring in both her life or potentially also within her love connections, such as even, of course, her twin flame connection, if that is something that is relevant for you, Divine Feminine. So really powerful messages from this Divine Feminine's higher self. And in the extended version of the reading, I will be diving into some deeper messages from this Divine Feminine's higher self, as well as from her spirit guides, her spirit team, her divine forces guiding her life, whatever divine forces you personally connect with. So that will be in the extended, as well as, of course, more details from the reading. I'm also going to be channeling what the Divine Masculine would like to say or do that he feels a bit held back from when we were speaking to the all tied up card in the upright position for the masculine. So those details will also be channeled in the extended, which is on our Twin Flame Soul Tribe on Patreon. So if you would like to join that community, the link to the extended reading is in the pinned comment and description box. But now I would like to speak to the higher self of the Divine Masculine. So what does this Divine Masculine's higher self want to say here? Envy in the reverse position, releasing patterns of lack or dissatisfaction. This is really interesting. I saw this kind of mirrored energy here between what we were just talking about with the feminine and what we are now seeing with the masculine. So for the Divine Feminine, we talked about how in the past, and of course this has been a recurring theme, we talked about in the past how the Divine Feminine was seeking externally a feeling of worth and validation in the past that she hadn't yet cultivated within. And this has really been represented through these readings by that solar plexus chakra reversed, a weak solar plexus energy, a weak sense of herself within, a weak self-confidence, self-worth, again, in the past, because this is something that the Divine Feminine is powerfully shifting at this time in the present. But I feel this coming up because with envy in the reverse, I see that the masculine is mirroring this energy, as of course he does always mirror the Divine Feminine in ways that are typically more manifested, more 3D oriented, more physical, because the masculine energy inherently is more tangible, visible, physical in general. But I do see it's almost as though just as the Divine Feminine was seeking externally for a sense of self-worth she wasn't finding within, the Divine Masculine was seeking externally a sense of fulfillment in his life. There's something specifically tied up in success, achievements, material focus. This could be money focus or focus on a career or a job that wasn't aligned with his soul, but it wasn't even potentially what he truly wanted on a soul level. And now through this spiritual awakening, he could be realizing that truth. He could be realizing this isn't really the path that I wanted to be on, but I was walking down this path because I thought that I was going to reach some sense of, there's something here about status, fulfillment, and then I was going to feel better about myself. I was going to feel happy or content or fulfilled with myself. But the thing is, walking this, I want to say wrong path, because that's how the ego would see it, this path that wasn't fully aligned with his soul. Walking this path, it's like he thought eventually he was going to end up at this location, at this place. And that location in this metaphor is this sense of contentment, total contentment, fulfillment with himself. But then he began to realize through this spiritual awakening, this path is never ending. There is no end point destination where suddenly, if he just continues going down, I wanted to say almost like pushing down this direction that is out of alignment with his soul, but that brings with it some kind of material validation or status or a sense of external security. Walking this path is not ultimately going to lead him to this magical state of external contentment and happiness, because just like the divine feminine, in his own way, the masculine is realizing this feeling of contentment and fulfillment has to come from within the self. And I feel that it's truly his spiritual awakening that is actually teaching him that truth. By the way, the number 555 came out on the recording timer, which I'm mentioning because that number often signifies powerful, intense, and rapid change, which I feel speaks to the changes, the soul alchemy taking place within the energy field of the divine masculine through his spiritual awakening, with 7th chakra in the reverse position, the crown chakra reversed. It's like the fact this card is reversed speaks to both turning inward and also something in flux that is shifting. So you as the divine feminine may be getting some strange head pressure or feelings of tingling around your crown chakra, the top of your head, even the sides of your head, I'm hearing as well. And know that if you're the feminine experiencing that, you could be picking up on energetically the powerful shifts and transformations happening through the crown chakra of the divine masculine. So what else does this divine masculine's higher self want to say? I feel like there with those messages, he was speaking both to his physical 3D self and also explaining to the divine feminine in 3D what is happening to him on a soul level, on an energy level. Strategy in the reverse position. This card has come out so frequently through this reading, releasing the need for a plan. I heard surrendering. I hear this divine masculine's higher self saying, divine feminine, I am surrendering my logic for love. That's literally what came through. So we could be dealing with a divine masculine who is typically highly logical or calculated, or really likes to have things planned or mapped out, doesn't like to move forward into the unknown, into the dark, and yet that is exactly what he's being guided to do. Specifically when it comes to the 2nd chakra, which just came out, the sacral chakra, forging connections that are both emotionally and physically intimate at the same time and healthy, balanced in that way. I feel that this is something that this divine masculine, or at least that one divine masculine I'm picking up on, it's like I hear him almost saying, I've never really had that. Like, I've never felt close to someone, even someone, I hear a masculine who's been with someone in some kind of a long-term relationship in the past. This won't be everyone. This relationship could be continuing into the present, but I hear him saying, even yes, in that longer-term relationship, you may be thinking of divine feminine. I've never truly felt deep level emotional and physical intimacy combined with a person. I've never felt fully vulnerable and seen and understood by a person until I met you. However, that's exactly why for this divine masculine, I'm hearing pulled away, ran away from this connection, because I'd experienced a long-term relationship and it was confusing how someone I'd only just met could make me feel more vulnerable and make me feel more seen than someone that I'd been with or people that I'd known in my life for potentially years. And I heard him saying, like, you achieved a kind of depth with me in, I'm hearing him say a day, so there could be something about literally the day you met or the day after or very soon after connecting, you and your twin could have really opened up emotionally to one another. I hear him saying, I opened up more to you in a day than I did to anyone else in a lifetime. And that was scary to me, but now I hear him saying, with strategy reverse, my higher self here is telling me, I'm releasing my need for a plan and fully walking forward in my blindness, because from a human perspective, we are blind to the overall soul's plan of our lifetime. But I'm walking forward in the dark and choosing to be seen, choosing to be understood with this sacral chakra in the upright position, in spite of my fears surrounding those very things. So in the extended version, again, I will get into more details on why the divine masculine could have been feeling this way, this fear of being seen and understood, as well as how this situation, this dynamic between the feminine and the masculine could be moving forward into the future. But to close out this reading for now, for those of you who are stopping off here, I'm just going to pull one final card from the Rumi Oracle. So what is one final card for twin flames listening to this reading? The all-encompassing hand, and this is the number 20 card if that is significant to someone. And I'm going to close this reading by just reading a little bit from the Rumi guidebook. You are the essence of my existence. Who am I? A mirror in your hands. Whatever you do, I will do. I am your irresistible reflection. Wow, if that's not a twin flame few lines in a poem, I don't know what is. With every breath, I feel my heart beating with yours. In your joy, I am exuberant. In your sadness, I am in sorrow. If you are bitter, I become bitter. If you are grace, I become grace. My joy is when I am bewildered by your beauty and taste the sweetness of love on your lips. If I pick a rose without you, it becomes a thorn in my hands. If I am the thorn, I become the rose in your hands. Rumi. And the line that really stood out to me from the actual guidebook messages besides the poem was, I ask for help this day in all ways through unconditional love. And although this line was meant to be a kind of mantra that can be used to really shift ourselves into a frequency of unconditional love, this really stood out to me as having an energy from the Divine Masculine. I felt the Divine Masculine saying, Divine Feminine, be patient with me through this process of learning unconditional love. Perhaps you are in need of reassurance, dearest one. Perhaps you have been feeling somewhat alone on your path, or struggling with a matter deep within your precious, beautiful heart, and speaking of it to no one. With no other to bear witness to your life experience, you may question your life, your sanity, your truths. And I hear someone literally saying, am I crazy? I feel crazy. And create doubt where no doubt need be. This must stop now. You are worthy of so much more. And this suffering, I heard the suffering of doubt, is not essential for your growth now. It is time to let it be and to open up to the touch of grace. So that feels like a really beautiful, aligned place to close out this reading. For those of you who are stopping off here, I really hope you have a beautiful Valentine's Day and, of course, a beautiful start to your week as well. We will be back here again on Wednesday at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you'd like to tune in for the next reading. For those of you who are continuing on to the extended exclusive reading on Patreon, I will be channeling more in-depth details on the interactions that could be playing out between the feminine and masculine in the 3D, as well as more higher self messages, and specifically we will also be channeling love-related messages from both the masculine and feminine to one another from a higher self level. So all of that extended information is in the pinned comment and description box under this video. Otherwise, I hope you have a truly beautiful rest of your day, and I will talk to you again in Wednesday's reading.